and welcome to JLTV. This is Stand With Us, and I'm Rothstein, your host. And today we have the privilege of having Liz Bro with us, who is going to talk about the high school work that we do at Stand With Us. So first, let me preface by saying that Stand With Us is an education organization. We have 18 offices around the world, and our whole mission is education about Israel. We were born 15 years ago with the idea that everybody was getting it wrong out there, and that we were really meant to be an arm of education so that people could get it right. People could put things into context. We started with printing materials, and we'll once again remind you to go to standwithus.com and go to resources. And under resources, you can look at the materials that we have and pick one thing and ask for it at no cost to you. So say I was watching JLTV and I would like something for free. Roz said I could have it, and we will ship it to you. So about 5 years ago, maybe almost 6 years ago, we realized that students who enter college, who love Israel, better be prepared before they get to college. Otherwise, day one, they see something they don't like, and then where do you begin? You know, we've got to do a lot of catch-up, a lot of training, a lot of informing and guiding, and it's so much easier if we can do that before students arrive in college. So we opened up this new wing, and you're part of it.
I am.
We now work in the high school, and we have high school interns, and we speak at high schools across the country and in Canada. And so, Liz, you are a big part of that.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so honored to work with high school students because I believe that through our training from day one as freshmen at their universities, they are not only educated, but they've been inspired and empowered to start the conversation about Israel on campus and to lead that conversation. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of this team.
So one of the things that's very unique about you, Liz, is that you're not Jewish.
Yes, that's my badge of honor. Yeah.
I have to keep remembering this because it's not like this is floating around in my head. Liz is not Jewish.
Right.
Liz, you're not Jewish. I
am.
remind myself about that because of your commitment is so strong, and you've been such a family member at Stand With Us. So tell us a little bit about what led you as a devout Christian,
yes, absolutely,
to be part of Stand With Us.
Well, I'm an Irish American, so I have a strong sense of justice, and my family's from Orange County. So as a freshman at UC Irvine, I think it was within the first couple weeks of school, at that time UC Irvine was probably the most anti-Israel campus in the United States, and I saw that, and I absorbed it, and it really made me question my perception of Israel, and thankfully I had already been just a little bit inoculated against the propaganda that's so rampant on college campuses because a Jewish friend had taken me to Israel a couple months before. And I think every good person falls in love with falafel and shawarma the second that they go to Israel. So I had the most incredible experience, and that prevented me from falling for the lies. Because I do have a strong sense of justice. I do care a lot about minorities and making sure that people are protected and that they have the right to live their lives and pursue their dreams. But thankfully, I was already introduced to who Israel actually is before I met the propaganda on college campuses.
So that trip that you took to Israel, how long was that trip for?
You know, really it was just a taste of Israel. It was only 10 days, and we went through, really the majority of it was the historical biblical sites and a little bit of modern Israel, but we went through Caesarea, Galilee, Jerusalem to Bethlehem, the Dead Sea, which was magnificent until I got salt in my eyes, and then I had to, scrape my contacts out. But I just had the most incredible time, and for a year afterwards, I wanted to be Israeli. I was listening to Israeli music and trying to get all my friends on board to celebrate Israel, because I really just think it's the best country, and so many people I think can be inspired by the story of the Jewish people, that after thousands of years, the story of course, that after thousands of years, they returned to their ancient homeland and rebuilt it as this thriving, modern democratic society, and that's what we all want. You know, that's the American dream, but Israel did it first and better. So I'm honored, and I just love that I get to celebrate that every single day of the week in my professional career too. Amazing.
Wow. So getting back to your friends, when you arrived back, were they on board with you, or did you feel a big disconnect? Suddenly you're different. You just experienced Israel. You come back to your friends. What was that like?
Well, they knew that I was very excited to go to Israel, and I lived in an area that had a pretty significant Jewish community already. So it wasn't, I think, unusual that I was excited to take a trip halfway around the world and that I was excited about having a fabulous experience. What really surprised them actually happened later. At the end of my freshman year at UC Irvine, I decided to switch schools. And I was a nursing major, and then I left that to major in Jewish studies. And that's what really shocked them, that a 10-day trip could transform my perception of something to the extent that I would change schools and
change your
completely change my future. Exactly.
Wow. So where did you go after Irvine?
So I moved to Chicago and attended the Moody Bible Institute. It's a very small Christian school in Chicago. Had an incredible experience, really just learning the history and the backstory, because as a Christian, I knew the biblical roots of my faith, and I was connected to Israel, but almost in a way that that people love fairy tales and fairy stories. It's inspiring, it's wonderful, but I didn't understand the connection between the ancient and the modern, and that's why I had to change my major, because I was like, what happened in between? Mm-hmm. Where's the thread from the ancient to the present, moving into the future? That's what I needed and gained, and I was introduced to Stand With Us during college, and that's really when my understanding of how I could be a part of the pro-Israel movement began.
So you were introduced while you were at Moody Bible?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, was that Vita Velasco?
Exactly. My now colleague and very dear friend, Vita Velasco, introduced me to Stand With Us.
She is extraordinary. She is also a member of our team. She has been working not just in doing outreach for churches and educating, but she's been a significant member of the high school team as well. So we're going to take a brief break and come right back to you with all the interesting things that you want to tell us about your work at Stand With Us and the high school program. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Stand With Us. I'm Roz Rothstein. We're here with Liz Bro, and we're talking about education. We're talking about making sure that students, when they arrive in the college campus, those who care about Israel should be much more prepared than they are right now. So that is our goal with the high school program at Stand With Us, and I think we're making very big headway, and you're a big part of it, Liz.
Thank you very much.
We're learning a little bit about your story. You you got to the point where you were at Moody Bible College in Chicago.
Yes.
Now, what took you from that to Stand With Us when you graduated? What was that?
Exactly. So my first experience with pro-Israel activism was really through political advocacy, and that's what I did during my college years. But while I was doing that, at the same time, a good friend of mine, Vita Velasco, had been an Emerson Fellow. That's our college program. And I was so amazed by her transformation in just the space of really 2 semesters. And I was so impressed with, and she's incredible. She was incredible before that. And to see what happened in such a short period of time.
So let me just interrupt you for 1 second.
Sure.
The Emerson Fellowship is our college fellowship where we really take a student who cares about Israel, and they may be in a position at school where they're running events for Hillel or for another organization, And so they have a lot of experience. They love Israel, as we said. And so we take them and make them an Emerson Fellow for 1 year. So they receive all our support. They would get funding. They would get materials. They would be able to bring in speakers to the school. They become our point person at a college campus. And Vita was an extraordinary Emerson, and that's why we hired her after she was an Emerson. So
Right.
you knew Vita.
Exactly. So in 2012, when the high school department was established, Vita joined that team. And I was really in the background, but kind of observing and watching it. And then I graduated college. And I thought really that my time with Israel was done. You know, I'm not Jewish. I don't really understand. You know, I didn't have a good path. I didn't know where I was going next. So I had a few lost years. But at the same time, my younger sister had also gotten the Israel bug. She went to Israel and then volunteered at a Moshav, studied Ulpan, ended up at the IDC. And during that period, over the couple of years, she also experienced terrorism and hatred and the rejection of the Jewish people's right to have a homeland. And I got fired up about that. I had been educated, but hearing her experience as an Irish American living in the only Jewish state in the world connected me to the Jewish people and connected me to Israelis on an emotional level. And I hadn't had that. And that's what brought me to realize that I can dedicate an enormous amount of time, my professional career, to this movement now that all of the points have been filled, the educational component and the emotional connection. So in 2014, I called Vita, and I think she'd posted something about, we have an opening, and I was like, I want that job. How do I get it? And so I joined the team in 2014 as the outreach coordinator for the high school department in Chicago.
So very, very good. And in retrospect, welcome on board again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now we're at the point where you just joined Stand With Us. And did you feel comfortable right away? Did you feel like it was a family right away?
Absolutely. The high school department, the thing that I love so much about the team is that not only are they immensely well educated and trained and talented and committed, but incredibly supportive of each other. I don't think that you could go to any other organization and find the camaraderie that we have as a team. That, I can go to someone else and say, this is my weakness, and they say, I'll give you 5 hours this month to make it your strongest strength. And that's what I love so much about this team, is that from day one, I had things that I needed to grow in. And I was able to really confess those things and say, help me out. And they were like, you have not a problem at all. And they did that, and I've grown so much as not only a supporter of Israel, but also as a young professional as a result of the support that I've received from Stand With Us.
So that's really nice, and it's nice to look at it that way. You have the passion that everybody else has on the team, which is wonderful, and that's what is so true about everybody at Stand With Us. Everybody's very passionate.
Yeah.
I can literally find people any hour of the day because everybody's watching their email, they're watching the problems, they're watching to make sure that all of us are working together to challenge those issues. And really, once again, the mission of Stand With Us is education. And we do it in all these different ways, including preparing high school students and giving them a big exposure to Israel way before they get to the college campus, so they can be instrumental on their campuses and create change in perception of their peers, which is really so critical. So you fit right in.
Thank you. Thank you. I explain the work that we do in the high school department, like spring training for baseball season or just practice in general. I think that's what students need before they get to campus. They hear things, they have a vague understanding of what's going on, but they need the opportunity to develop their skills and to articulate their passion for Israel. And once they have the opportunity to do that, which we provide them through our high school internship, then wow, they make a difference from day one. And we're seeing that now. Now that we've had years and years of the internship, we're seeing that ripple effect throughout the United States on American college campuses.
So one of the things that is different about our program is let's say there's two kinds of kids. One kind of kid that may not be a leader, but loves Israel and wants to get involved. And unfortunately, that is not the kid that we have the resources to work with. The kind of student that is selected in the high school to be part of the Stand With Us high school program is a kid that already has demonstrated leadership. So they have been leaders in high school already. And this will guarantee for us that once they arrive in the college setting, they will more likely be leaders.
Absolutely.
So we're going to hear more about that when we come back. And a little bit about what you do with these high school students.
Exactly.
What kinds of programs you're running.
Yeah.
And I know that the program is a year long, so we'll talk about that. And so we will be right back. Don't you leave. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Stand With Us. We're on JLTV, and I'm Roz Rothstein, your host, and we're here with Liz Bro, who is one of our amazing, passionate Stand With Us high school workers, and we are going to we'll continue talking about what it is you do with the students once you get them. And what kinds of programs you're running. But before we do that, I wanted to just remind you again that we do this work of education in a myriad of ways, including materials. You know, when students are tabling on their campuses, they use materials that we give them. When you want to educate your friends, you may want to use a little booklet like this, Pocket Facts. And so we encourage you to go to the website and see what's available and ask us for one free thing. Tell them you were watching JLTV and Roz said you could have something, so ask for it. So Liz, tell us a little bit about the kinds of programs that we run in the high school.
Exactly. So really our high school department has a two-pronged approach to educating high school students about Israel. We have our high school internship, which is really focused on developing the best of the best, giving them the tools and the education that they need to be the leaders that they already are, so that they can start from day one. I always say that, from day one as freshmen, at their universities, we want them to be empowered to be leaders. The other thing that we do is our outreach programs, and that's when I, the high school coordinator, go into a public school or a private school, and sometimes also a Jewish youth group like BBYO, USY, NCSY. The Stand With Us High School Department has national partnerships with all of the major Jewish youth groups, and also a few Christian youth groups as well. And so we go into those programs and we invite students to develop their own personal connection to Israel, and then we give them the education that they need to discover more of their own connection to Israel. So that's our outreach work. It's really inviting people to discover who Israel is as a country and to combat some of the misinformation that they might have heard. Our high school internship is a year-long internship program for juniors and seniors in high school that begins just before school starts in August with our fall conference. It's really, for me, the highlight of the year, because just this past year we brought 86 students from across the United States and Canada to Southern California for 4 days of education and training, and they walk out of the airport and onto the campus just amazed that there are so many students just like them that they didn't know about.
Right.
That's what we do. We are bringing people together, and they're saying, you're me and I'm you. And we're different, but we can work together now that we've met. And they have that opportunity as a result of Stand With Us.
So we have this multi-tier approach of how we've decided, we made the decision to educate the high school audience. And I think that it's very good the way you describe it. So there's, like, let's say there's two wings of the high school program. One is us going out to different high schools and saying, hi, let me tell you a little bit about Israel.
Yeah.
And that way they're getting a first exposure. And many times we'll meet students that may want to get more involved. So we're able to make those connections. That's very, very important.
Yeah,
and it's not just Jewish schools. It's not just
No,
Christian
no.
schools. It's public schools. It's any schools.
As long as they're high school students, I will speak to them. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
And then we have this really great selection of existing leaders already showing their leadership skills on the high school level. And then they come to us, they want to be part of this training so that they can take their skills to the next level and really be prepared on the college campus. But while they're in their high schools, they're already running programs at their high schools. This is a crazy amount of energy that we have throughout the country and Canada, so that I think last year we ran programs.
So last year our high school students reached over 50,000 students.
Okay,
in
so
North
let me stop you
America.
because I want to repeat that. 50,000 high school students were touched by the programs that were run through your department.
Exactly.
How many of you are there in your department?
We have 9 staff across the United States and Canada. We divide North America into regions, and then we have 9 staff that operate in those regions.
So this is a significant operation.
Yeah.
We already have 9 people working full-time in this department, and that is why the high numbers, and that is why the high impact, because you've got, that many programs going out from the kids that each one of these each one of these high school staff is responsible for within their region.
Exactly.
So there's constant programming going on.
I mean, constant. I have 19 interns right now, and the Stand With Us high school internship is a very desired internship experience. Last year, just in the Southwest alone, I had over 80 students apply for the internship, and I only accepted 19. That's how much high school students want this internship.
And they're qualified kids. You can't even apply unless you're at this high level of qualification. You're already a leader. You have the right recommendations. You've already been to Israel. You're, clearly interested and clearly a Zionist.
And already doing. They're not just feeling something about Israel. They're doing something for Israel, and that's the kind of student that we accept.
So it must be hard to select them.
It's the worst. Just like I said, the highlight of my year is the fall conference. May is the worst. My birthday's in May, and it's the worst time of year for me because incredible potential, is coming to me, and these students are so talented. I could accept, I could have had 30 or 40 interns this year, but the 19 that I do have, we have a program requirement that throughout the year after the fall conference, they continue their education with me each month, and then they share that education in their local high school and in their community, whether that's their youth group or just their friend group. And so we have a minimum program requirement, either 3 or 4, depending on the coordinator. I require 4 programs because I'm tough, but what they do is they do more than that. I had an intern last year who did 11 programs. We have other interns that do 20 programs because they want to do more, and they are doing more for Israel.
So I know it's tough to pick them. You can help us expand the program. So I don't want to put any pressure on you, but some of you out there are able to help us, and we can go from a person like Liz and all the other high school coordinators having not 19 kids, but maybe 30 kids, but we just, it's a matter of dollars and cents. So help us. Go to standwithus.com, and if you're in a position to do so, help us. Make a donation. Anyways, thank you very much, Liz.
Thank you for
joining
having
us. You'll come back another time.
Of course.
Thank you for being here with us today at Stand With Us. See you next time.
I have learned so much when it comes to Israel advocacy and Israel in general.
1 hour with Stand With Us and the Israel 101 and just the different sessions has really given me the tools, I feel like, to defend Israel.
They send pamphlets, T-shirts, bottles, iPhone cases. So much is provided by Stand With Us for us to branch out on campus and spread the word.
It's been a tremendous honor and pleasure to be an intern for Stand With Us, and I look forward to working together with this amazing organization. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot say it enough.
תשובה